Okay. I will open the City Council meeting for Tuesday, October 16th, 2018, for the Beaumont City Council. We will be opening at 4 o'clock. This is the closed session first that we'll be covering, and then we will convene the regular session at 6 o'clock at our regular time. Could you please do the roll call?
Councilmember Santos?
Here.
Councilmember White?
Here.
Councilmember Lara? Is absent at the moment. Mayor Pro Tem Martinez?
Here.
Mayor Carroll?
Here. Do we have any public comments?
I don't have any requests to speak. However, we did get an email submission, and I've put copies all on your desks there.
All right.
And I'll include it in the agenda as well.
So, and that is for
In
this?
regards to waste management. It's
Oh,
not on
okay.
the
So that will come
agenda.
up later.
It's not an item on the agenda.
So should I do it on the regular closed session public comment? I mean, the regular session public comment or now?
You can just note it for the record. You certainly are not required to read it into the record.
Okay, all right.
I wasn't sure where it pertained, so I just thought I'd.
All right, thank you very much. So that will be, excuse me, noted and put into the record. I thank you. Could you please tell us, City Attorney, what's on the, Mr. Pinckney, on the agenda?
Yes, the council's meeting in closed session. Item number 2, conference with special legal counsel, anticipated litigation, significant exposure to litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D2 and E1. Special legal counsel will be participating in that closed session. That's Eric Vale of the law firm of Burke Williams Sorensen, and that's one item. I will not be participating in that closed session. And item 3, conference with labor negotiator pursuant to Government Code Section 54957.6, city designated representative, city manager Todd Parton or his designee, SEIU. Number 4 is conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, significant exposure to litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D2 and or 3, one potential case. Item 5, conference with legal counsel regarding existing litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D1, AC Equipment Incorporated et al. Versus City of Beaumont, case number RIC 1714429. Number 6, conference with legal counsel regarding existing litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D1, Angela Santa Cruz individually and as guardian ad litem for a minor versus City of Beaumont et al., case number 218CV08427. And then lastly, item 7, public employee performance evaluation pursuant to Government Code Section 54957B1, employee title city manager. And those are the items for closed session.
Thank you. Please note on the record that Councilmember Lara is in attendance. So we will convene to closed session at 4:04 p.m.
Sorry. commit any federal fraud lately? Not in the last 5 minutes. Feels like morning.
Oh, comes together.
I know our little team will be there are other vendors. Well, definitely other firms, but I'm just thinking, you know, for Piper, I mean, we had layoffs in fixed income this year. But not in banking. And, you know, we did one, we did anything. But there are some bankers that struggle. We haven't had that issue, and Piper's pretty good at that.
More than one? You didn't take me either, but you took my dog.
Took the dog. He did say he was taking the dog.
He sent me a picture today.
Took the dog in the Jeep.
She was like, she's modeling now. I was like, oh my god.
I say, is it mama dog? No, it's not. Oh, that's all right. Well,
Here's the face.
Don't hurt it too much.
actually, there's a doctor right here. You know, they have a vested interest, at least they know what they're talking about.
Need to sit here and
Things like that.
After that,
Yeah.
bring it inside.
Get out.
you know what I want.
Those are good.
But I need it. If I didn't have them on camera.
Right, you did. That's too bad.
I think I'm just gonna put a comment, stay too long, and just got here. Huh? I bet it does, you want to sit down and. Check it out.
Yes.
My, Google Maps took me that far up. Or something. Feel better. It is, I mean, it's a little stressful, we really need to get back until I got closer. Yeah.
Right.
Isn't that far?
Yeah.
Yeah. What? Oh.
Good, how you doing?
Area 7 showing up. a whole bunch of developers sitting in the hallway, like they used to.
Licking their chops. Magic. And it's Piper Jeffy, there for it.
Oh, I'd like to see Mr. Grant's response, wouldn't you? And supporting documents, wouldn't you?
Well, my response was,
It was, one of the ones that was like,
She said you need to say that.
yeah, it was, push it, you know, and they still ran.
Oh, yeah, let's hire him.
Right. So I was
To
like,
represent you.
is that what they said?
Yeah.
Oh, you know how I feel about that.
If you, that's what I said.
That's good.
hi, Nicole.
That's what I said.
How are you?
Let me hire another lowlight.
He is in the kitchen all the time. I rarely ever even get.
Don't worry. Don't worry.
Oh, really?
I'm my own.
Yeah, you are my legal counsel.
I say, no, you are the legal counsel that I hired.
The Attorney General.
Yeah.
Everything's done, and then by the time they come back, I'm like done shopping.
Oh.
Wrap everything, he takes all the Christmas stuff down before we leave, everything's up, nobody's in my hair, just do my thing, so actually, like, really enjoy that one.
Get your own each other time. Very cool.
Indeed.
Have you guys do any other camping other than?
Get yourself some more money. Have you traded? Anything happened?
Yeah, yesterday, I was, it had like
My dinner. Yeah. I try to have it.
What's that? And then I also have some pictures that I can share. I don't know if there's someone.
I mean, if you want me to email them to me, I can share them that way after the fact. I can't really do anything.
and that's their ball.
Right.
I think we've all seen.
Yeah, no, I had like a late lunch, but I didn't. Really. Yeah.
I had one little.
Got their tacos that I like. The hard shell tacos. I get it. I like dissect it. I eat it like all the rice together, all the chicken together. I don't like it.
I say it's what I'll comment. I took a picture of it, sent it to my son.
They said, I thought this Beaumont's gonna submit legal documents, and they're not gonna be forced at all. Really?
So good.
And that was Piper Jeffrey said. Oh, that you're the guarantor of Beaumont? You guarantee that Beaumont's gonna,
Yeah, I mean, you're just.
legal documents?
I didn't want to go there, but you did, so I have no idea what
Oh,
you're talking about.
you don't know.
I don't want to hear it random.
Now my wife
Yes, we've been recycling, we do really good stuff. But, yes.
Do you go see your grandkids tomorrow?
Yeah.
We're gonna take, yeah,
You know what? For Halloween. No, but they're, yeah, they're probably going to a party.
How old is it? We're gonna put their camera on. Oh, no.
Yeah. I think my older one said she loves it.
Oh, yeah.
And the other one.
Oh, you start taking right up.
She always likes fairy.
Right, early. It's different when you're looking at this side.
They're so different.
You're sorry. They treated her so bad because she was right all along. Just go ahead and say.
I have some school pictures.
Right all along.
I had them.
You know something, Roger? It can never make up for the way I was treated by the council. It can never make up for it.
Never.
Oh, don't bother. Don't bother to ever speak to me again, okay?
5 times arrested, Roger Berg. 5 times arrested.
Thanks to you and your buddies.
While you were counsel playing those games. 5 times.
Oh, yeah.
5 times.
I spent the night, and then that next morning they were getting the pictures taken. Now I went to the city hall and she's got it.
Who do these people think they are?
We're like,
They just don't understand. They don't do
glamorous.
They don't understand. They just said.
And they had like sparks.
Steal the money until they can't.
You know, because normally they do.
Oh, okay.
So all the.
It's there, whatever it is.
Anyway,
Look at this
yeah, this
thing
is a
here.
feather. I think
No,
they
it's
had
the other
a feather thing
I
now.
got 5.
It was so funny.
The other one of my daughters.
I'll tell you, I don't want to hear another word.
It's not a good time.
It's not a good time to speak to me.
Roger Berg's already came up.
You know, as a record.
I don't know what she wrote about your wife and daughter.
You picked the wrong.
Does it matter? Does it really matter?
We're all in the same room, people.
Jeez.
Jeez, Jesus, right.
I'll bring them all back in. Bunch of morons.
Bad time.
Tell them not to speak to me. Oh, they're playing with us. Playing with us. You know how it is. They can't stand it. I read enough.
So we screwed.
They better not give me any amount of my mail. I'm
done. Come up to me, either one of them. They the twins.
Can you tell the difference between Roger Bird and Lloyd White?
Yeah.
Congratulations. I can't tell the difference. 10 years. Tell the difference. 10 years.
Same crap, different day.
I looked for you after the last one there.
Yeah.
You were down this end, I was down that end.
They were both on
It was
the
late
same
at
end,
night,
right?
but it was too bad because I had a big party for Jack and I wanted it in the front yard. It's okay, we'll still use visibility. Okay.
All right, buddy.
Let the fun begin.
Hey, 25.
Oh.
That's all you need to know.
I heard,
But I spent thousands of dollars trying to protect myself. I didn't know how much to pay my attorney fees.
crib sheet.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I'll take one.
Oh, good.
See you back up. Thanks, Julio. All right.
Okay, good. Okay, we will do our, here we go. We are out of closed session at 6:10, and could I have a city attorney report, please?
I'll report on item 2. We had a conference with special legal counsel, anticipated litigation, and significant exposure to litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956, 9D2, and E1. We did visit with special legal counsel, Eric S. Vale, with Burke, Williams, and Sorensen. There's no reportable action on that.
Item number 3 was conference with labor negotiator pursuant to Government Code Section 54957.6, city designated representative, city manager Todd Parton, or his designee regarding the SEIU. Also in attendance was Carrie Mendoza and Lena Wade attending by phone. There was no reportable action taken on that item. Item number 4, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, significant exposure to litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D2, and or 3, one potential case. There was no discussion on that item, and that item is going to resume at the end of closed session. There wasn't enough time. Item number 5, conference with legal counsel regarding existing litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D1. AC Equipment Incorporated et al. Versus City of Beaumont et al. Case number RIC 1714429. There was no reportable action taken on that item. Item number 6, conference with legal counsel regarding existing litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D1. Angela Santa Cruz individually and as guardian ad litem for MLV, a minor, versus City of Beaumont et al. Case number 2:18-CV-08427. There was reportable action taken on that item. There was a motion made by Councilmember Laura and a second by Councilmember Martinez authorizing defense in response to the lawsuit, and the vote was as follows. Mayor Carroll in favor of defending the matter. Vice Mayor Martinez in favor of defending the matter. Councilmember White in favor. Councilmember Santos in favor. Councilmember Laura in favor also. Item number 7, public employee performance evaluation pursuant to Government Code Section 54957B1. Employee title, city manager. There was no discussion on that item, and that item also will resume at the end of closed session. And that's a report out from closed session.
Thank you. I will open the general session at 6:13. Can I have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Santos?
Here.
Councilmember White?
Here.
Councilmember Lara?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Martinez?
Here.
Mayor Carroll?
Here. Thank you. Pledge of Allegiance. Could we have a city manager? Would you do the pledge?
Would you please join me in the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Do I have any conflict of interest to be disclosed tonight? No? There was a request for item 5 to be pulled. That's the only request on changes on the agenda that I received. Do we have public comments?
We do. For clarification on item 5, it's just to be pulled to be discussed from the consent calendar, not pulled completely.
Okay,
from the
then
agenda.
I will change how I worded that. We
Okay,
will
I just
pull
wanted
it
to-
for discussion. Thank
Sure.
you.
Yes, we do.
All right, I will open public comment at 6:14. Public comment, any one person may address the city council on any matter not on this agenda. If you wish to speak, please fill out a public comment form provided at the back table and give it to the city clerk. There is a 3-minute limit on public comments. There will be no sharing or passing of time to another person. State law prohibits the council from discussing or taking actions brought up by your comments. First speaker.
Libby Ramovic?
The attorney said that there was only like 4 lawsuits, 4 claims. And now we find out there's many claims. We don't know how many claims. But one of them is a federal lawsuit that now you guys are going to defend. How can you defend stripping naked young girls and filming them? That is unbelievable. You know, the old council at least had the decency to put the lawsuits on the agenda so we could see them. The new council took them off, specifically Pinckney. As soon as he got here, he pulled all the lawsuits off the agenda. And then he said, oh, he was trying to help us out. He'll put them out every month. Really, he will. No, he doesn't. You're hiding what's going on. It always comes out. You didn't just get sued yesterday. This happened months ago. And you guys have covered it up. You got 2 police departments. Half the cops are decent, hardworking guys that are just looking for an honest job. The other half are a bunch of thugs. You're going to have to clean house, or you go down with them. Here's the problem. You're all smirking at me. Lloyd White thinks it's funny. Julio thinks it's great. Santos don't know. Mike, Laura, you're just staring at me, and of course, Nancy Carroll's just ignoring me. How is this funny? How is it funny that you guys are just taking this city down the toilet? That you guys are committing crimes? You're just like the old council. How is that even possible?
May I make a comment briefly, Your Honor?
Yeah.
I just want to make the record clear. The city has not, in case there's any confusion, but the city has not been served with that lawsuit. And that lawsuit was filed right before the last council meeting. And I mentioned at the end of the council meeting when I did the litigation report that we were aware of another lawsuit but hadn't been served with it. So we dealt with it at the first meeting possible. So
You got a claim,
Thank you.
and you know it.
Do we have any other public comments?
We do. Next speaker is Ann Connors.
My name is Ann Connors, and I live at 813 Elm. I'm here about a dangerous situation I'm in. I cannot see the street as I leave my driveway. I have had numerous close calls. This is due to an excessive number of vehicles owned by my neighbor. This situation has existed for about 2.5 years. There are between 5 and 8 vehicles at any given time, 99% of the time. One of them is in their garage. In addition to my danger, there are numerous children walking home from school that go out into the street hidden by my neighbor's cars to continue on. We are a completely residential street, but the city is about to raise the speed limit on Elm again, this time to 35. That translates to 40 and 45 in reality, compounding the danger. Since my last attempt to find a solution through the city, the tree that is never trimmed in the easement has grown foliage down nearly to the ground. This would also block my vision if the cars were not there. Because of the way the properties are situated, I am the only neighbor impacted by however this neighbor behaves, and believe me, it's a burden no one should have to bear. Since I cannot explain all that has happened because of this, or the numerous results of my attempts to solve the problems, I have brought evidence, visual and otherwise, for you to contemplate. So far, I have emailed the chief of police, spoken with a police officer, left this material at the front counter for the city manager, and now you will make a total of 8 people in this city whom I have contacted since last October, after 2 years of trying to reason with a neighbor. I want this to be on record at this meeting, because if and when I suffer further injury, or my car, or a passenger in my car, feline or otherwise, or a child walking home from school is injured, the city will not be able to claim to have been unaware of the problem. Photographs, questions, further comments, and additional information are in the documents I'm presenting to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for comments. Do we have record of the location? Will we talk about it next week?
Yes, ma'am. Sure.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Helen Mesro.
Hello, Mayor, City Council members. I have lived in Cherry Valley for 62 years. I live right on Cherry Valley Boulevard. I am a little upset with the way Beaumont Avenue is looking right in front of the sports park. I did bring some pictures. The asphalt is completely just mosaic. And I'm driving in the bicycle lane and in the middle trying to avoid all of the little asphalty pieces. The other thing I wanted to bring to your attention is that there are 5 schools in a 2-mile radius between Cherry Valley Boulevard and Oak Valley Parkway. The congestion at 7:30 in the morning and at 3 o'clock in the afternoon is horrific. I live just down the street from the entrance to the Beaumont High School, and in the morning I have about 200 to 250 cars in front of my house trying to go get into the high school, and they won't even park to allow me to pull out of my driveway. And when I do, I'm not about to go towards Beaumont Avenue and go down into Beaumont if I have business in Beaumont. So what I do is I try to go left, and I can't go left because they won't park their cars at all. They're going to get their kid to the school. And I would go down and go to the freeway and come around to go to do some business in Beaumont, because you can't even go down Beaumont Avenue during school getting in and school getting out. So my suggestion is just please don't put another school in that general area. If you're having other houses being developed or developments, and please do not put another school in that vicinity. And also, if the builder builds a school, please have him have parking for parents, because parents, when they have to go pick their small children up, they have to park their car and they have to walk to the school grounds to get their child. You actually have to go to the door of the classroom and then they'll release the child to you. And so all these parents, however many parents that are in that school, how many people or children are in that school, that many people are parking their cars to walk to the school grounds to get their child, and there is no place to park, or it's really congested. And like over by Tournament Hills, they've already painted the curb red. You can't even park on the north side of the street anymore. The curb is completely painted red. So you're parking like yards away from the school to try to go pick up your student. So please have developers also create a larger way of picking up children and dropping off children. And please do not put another school between Cherry Valley and Oak Valley Parkway. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Next speaker is Roger Berg.
Roger Berg, Beaumont, California. Thank you. I wanted to ask, last August, I made a complaint with the police department on a Saturday about property at 10th in California that was tearing down a large eucalyptus tree and blocking the whole street and didn't have an encroachment permit, and had a lot of issues with them because they didn't understand encroachment permits. They didn't think they had to enforce that and things. It's in your ordinance. Encroachment permit's done Monday through Friday so that the city engineer can make sure the city street's not getting damaged. That property's still a mess. The debris is still out on the street. It's on the right of way. There's kids walking through there. This guy had somebody out there supposed to be controlling traffic that was breakdancing. I showed it to the city engineer. Now, credit to the city manager. I came down to talk to him, and he was working on some stuff. But folks, we really need to get this under control. You can't have hairy homeowners, and Mike, I think you would understand this, being in the building as long as I've been in construction, taking down an 80-foot tree that's 48 inches in diameter on city right-of-way, and then dropping them in 8-foot pieces. It was just dangerous as can be. I've done this for years. I was scared to death. I think what needs to happen is you don't have anybody on the weekend. Let the police department know what some of these issues are. Show them what things aren't needing encroachment permits, and then also, if you can get code enforcement up to speeds, I guess sometimes they work on the weekends, they don't, but we can't have this. He did not know what he was doing, didn't care, and that's not the kind of people that should be doing the work. I see, them tree trimming done by Edison and other stuff is done correctly, and they got the proper permits. And my big concern is many years ago, the city was sued for somebody didn't have the permits, and they had a traffic pattern wasn't right, and a man was killed, and the city was sued. And I don't want to see that happen again. So that's my only concern. I'm not against the police department, you guys, or anybody else, but I would just appreciate it if you would look into that and do something with code enforcement. And then also just a little bit on those campaign signs. Please update your website that shows what can be allowed and not, because it was confusing to me. So I appreciate that, and thank you very much, okay?
Thank you for your comments.
Next speaker is Lanny Swerdlow.
Healthcare district. That's the district that supervises and runs our San Gregorio Memorial Hospital in Banning. Our hospital is having troubles. I'm sure you are aware of that. In 2017, 75 doctors from the Beaver Medical Group filed a complaint against the hospital alleging a toxic environment, intimidation of doctors, and a host of administrative and financial problems with the operation of the hospital. In 2016 and 2017, the hospital lost over $13 million, and it's on course in 2018 to lose several million more dollars because of a reduced patient load due to the bad publicity of the hospital. To make matters worse, last August, Moody's Investment Services lowered the bond rating of the $117 million in bonds the hospital has from A3 to B AAA, which is one full category lower, and the investment services reported that they have a negative outlook for these bonds. Our hospital has some problems. As a registered nurse who has worked in both public hospitals and private doctors' offices, I believe I have the competency and the real-world experience to understand the mix of private and public health care services to provide good service on the board of directors of the San Gregorio Memorial Healthcare District. There is 3 positions that are going to be up for election on the November ballot, and I hope you will consider voting me for one of them. And thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
No other speakers. All right, thank you. With that, I will close the public
comment section at 6:27 p.m. The consent calendar. Item 5 is to be pulled for discussion, and are there any other items to be pulled? If not, I will make a motion to approve 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6.
I'll second. Was it your motion? I apologize.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was my motion. Thank you.
Councilmember Santos?
Yes.
Councilmember White?
Yes.
Councilmember Lara?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Martinez?
Yes.
Mayor Carroll?
Yes. Item 5. Staff report by Milana Taylor.
Yes, we had you pull this for discussion. There was an attachment that was not with the original staff report for additional items, some to be thrown away as not being useful or able to be rehabilitated, and others that we are offering through auction to have them taken, and those are related to the grounds department. But that is the only change to the staff report you received.
And that's that supplemental
Yes.
list you gave us, okay.
Yes.
Do I have any questions from council or discussion? If not, I will make a motion to approve item number 5, declaration of surplus property and request for disposal with the addendum that was received.
I'll second.
Councilmember Santos?
Yes.
Councilmember White?
Yes.
Councilmember Lara?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Martinez?
Yes.
Mayor Carroll?
Yes. Thank you. We're on to action items. I didn't skip one, did I? Okay, we're on to action items. Item 7, Community Facilities District number 93-1, CFD 93-1, Improvement Area number 7B, authorizing the issuance of its special tax bond, Series 2018. With a report beginning with the city manager.
Yes, ma'am, and I'll be very brief because we've got representatives of Piper Jeffrey, our underwriter. We have Michael Bush with Urban Futures and Mr. Brian Forbath with Stradling here to present this item for you tonight. But this represents the second and final debt issuance that had been contemplated for Improvement Area 7B, which is part of CFD 93-1, which was created in 1993. And so April 5th, 2005, the City Council at that time did vote to approve the creation formation of Improvement Area 7B. And in that creation was authorization to issue up to $25 million worth of bonded indebtedness through this improvement area. So with that, Mr. Bush, if I could turn it to you to present this item. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Parton. Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the City Council. We have 3 presentations for you tonight on the 3 CFD items. We're going to start with 7B. Ms. Coster and I will be handling the presentation for the 3 items, and then as Mr. Parton has pointed out, other members of your financing team are available. 7B, we're going to have, it's a very short presentation compared to prior presentations, primarily because it's one improvement area. So we're going to focus on just one improvement area at a time, starting with 7B. A little bit about the details. I think Mr. Parton covered some of these. Most of the items that you're going to hear tonight, the developments have been completed for some time. This one has been substantially completed since 2014. It's about 85 acres. The transaction details that I think that you're probably most looking forward to hearing are at the bottom levels here. As you can see, we've continued to lower the annual assessments. They've been reduced by 25% for this specific improvement area. And I think some more good news is we are actually projecting to assign below the rate that was in the amended RMA, which was $440,000. This is only going to be $330,000. So, and another bit of good news, we've structured this transaction to eliminate the 2% escalator as requested by the council when possible. This is the part of the presentations that I will go through, and then Ms. Coster will go through the meat of the presentation as it relates specifically to the details.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor Carroll and rest of the council. So what we'd like to present to you is similar to what you've seen in the past for these types of transactions. This particular improvement area 7B has been structured so that the debt will wrap around the existing outstanding debt, Series 2012 C and D. Both of those series of bonds actually mature in 20 years. So the approach that we've taken here is not to do a full 30-year new money issuance, but to cut off this new money debt in the 20 years. So the final maturity is actually 9/1 of 39. A couple of other key points with respect to structuring is that despite the fact that the rate and method does allow a special tax escalator of 2%, the city has decided to have level debt service in aggregate between the three series of bonds. So this particular series, the debt service actually decreases over time to allow for the level aggregate debt service. The other thing that's unique about this is that we've also structured the transaction so that debt service, so that the special tax that's levied each year will approximate 75% of the maximum assigned special tax under the rate and method, net of the $20,000 priority admin. So all of the taxes are going to be reduced by approximately 25% across the board for all homeowners. So no extension, no escalator, and level debt service. As a result of that, we're able to raise about $2.37 million in par, which equates to about $1.9 million in project fund proceeds. We are going to fund a cash-funded debt service reserve fund, and we have approximately $192,000 in costs of issuance, including the underwriter's discount. And you can see on the chart the level debt service there. This slide shows you the breakout of the cost of issuance with the underwriter's discount at 47.4 and the total with all of the other consultants of 192.4. As a comparison, as we've done in the past to other similar size transactions, again, this is a fairly small deal. We compared it to a similarly small deal, Series 2009B. You can see here that that particular transaction, the underwriting and professional services, equated to about 13% on a per bond basis, and what we're proposing here is approximately 8%. So under what has been done in the past. This slide shows you the annual debt service payment broken out between principal and interest. As you can see here, this only represents the new money that we're going to be selling, so you can see the declining debt service there, and also the final maturity in 2039. This slide shows the aggregate debt service, which is level. The light gray represents the debt service for 2012C. The darker gray is 2012D. Both of the 2012D specifically escalates, and then the blue on top is where we're filling in and wrapping around for aggregate level debt service. Our schedule is that pending approval from the City Council tonight of the bond documents, we are poised to print the preliminary official statement tomorrow. We'll have the typical 10 days to 2 weeks of marketing of the bonds, and we will be pricing the bonds on October the 26th with a close 2 weeks later, prior to the Thanksgiving holidays. At that point, the proceeds will be available to reimburse the developer for the improvements. And with that, I'll open it to questions.
Thank you. Do we have public comment on this?
We do not.
All right, thank you. I will open it to council then. Questions from council? Councilmember White?
The total combined debt service of the
two earlier bond issuances and this one, what's the total amount of debt, not debt service?
The total amount of debt, I think we were authorized for 25 million and we're at about 23. I think about 23. We're under the maximum authorized. But also you should know that this is the final issuance of debt. We have closed off the lien, so there will be no future new money issuances under this improvement area except for refundings. On the old 4 million? Oh, okay, so it's quite a bit less. It's about 7 million total.
Sorry, what was the
7
amount
million
left?
total.
Yeah, it's a lot less.
Yeah.
Okay.
Give me numbers, please.
Approximately 7 million total par outstanding.
Okay.
All right, that's,
So we've been authorized, or a previous council authorized 25 million.
Correct.
We're stopping at 7 million.
We're closing the lien, yes.
Okay, and what does closing the lien mean? Does a future council have the ability to reopen that lien?
They do not.
And the reimbursement to the developer is for what purposes?
Good evening, Councilmember White, Mayor Carroll, Brian Forbath, Stratton Yaka. The purpose of this is to reimburse the developer for, they have certain infrastructure they put in. I believe in this case it was a pump station and sewer lift line to get reimbursed for that they put in that they were never reimbursed for. That's about $12 million. And I think one thing that I think is important to note is, the developer wanted to get reimbursed for all of these costs and, originally proposed to have a 30-year bond issuance with taxes to be levied up to the max rate to get fully reimbursed. Your city manager worked with the developer and they cooperated, with the city to reduce those rates significantly, knowing that they were going to take significant fewer dollars here, but they were able to come to an agreement with the city to move this forward and to take significant less money and to do, what I think the city manager wanted to accomplish to benefit the 7B taxpayers who I think feel that they have some